I don't know why I'm picking up some static. I think it's me. Let's see.
Maybe it's me.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh no.
Oh, it's okay. Hey, how's everybody doing this morning? Well, it's morning here, but it's not morning with you, huh, Hamad?
Yeah.
You're what, 7 o'clock at night right
Yeah,
now?
it's 8
Oh,
p.m.
8 o'clock.
Yeah, 8 p.m.
So,
here.
so it's what, 12-hour difference? No, no,
More,
yeah,
I think, or less. 10?
yeah, it's 10 hours.
10 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, well, just let me see who's here real quick. I know Sal's Fish World was here a little while. He's going to be catching the replay. Thank you, Sal, for joining us. DJ Guppy Fish, that's another Sal. Today we got a couple of Sals in the chat.
Nice.
And we have Alex from Fathom Aquatics. He was one of my recent guests on here too, and thank you for joining us, Alex. Jose Cota, thank you so much for dropping by. Aqua London Wild, ¿cómo estás, compañero? Gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. And so those are still trying to come in. They're trickling in as we speak. Thank you guys for joining us today. I just wanted to present a little bit of my guests for today. I have the fortune of being accompanied by Hamad, or as you guys may know him, what is it? The Aquatic Desert
Yeah.
is the name of the channel.
Yeah.
Now, are you mostly present on Instagram or YouTube?
I'm more on YouTube than Instagram.
More on YouTube?
Well, kind of both. Kind of both.
Did you start both accounts around the same time, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like me. I kind of started both of them at the same time. When I first started, there's only like a few months difference from when I started YouTube. I mean, actually posting content on YouTube, and then started doing stuff on Instagram. Just kind of made sense at the time.
Honestly, I like to turn off the comments in the chat so I can see you and see myself.
All right.
You
can go ahead and do that.
Like,
just I think you X out of it, but make sure you don't use the back. Well, at least on my phone, I have an Android, and every time I go back, it kicks me out entirely of the stream. If that happens, it's no big deal.
Back. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you're probably better at tech anyways than I am.
No.
I can get to pushing buttons, and I don't know where I'll end up.
It's okay.
So, Hamad, okay, we were just talking a little while back, backstage, just kind of playing a little bit of catch up. But for most of us, you're kind of intriguing because we don't know a whole lot about you. So that was kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on, was to get to know you a little bit better. I know I'm trying to recall if I came across your content.
I don't remember across your content.
Yeah, because I remember seeing
Spanish.
Oh, okay.
And I asked you, is it all Spanish? And I was sad because it says Mexicali and it should be in mixed, like, English and Spanish. And
well, I don't know if you understand why the channel is named Mexicali. I used to live in the city in Mexico called Mexicali, which happens to be a border city. I mean, with the United States, it's literally like a crossing town. So I grew up there basically most of my teenage and adult life. I grew up in that region. It hasn't been until recently that I've moved full time to the United States. But I did all my education here in the United States. I'm a citizen of the United States, so that's why English is a lot more familiar for me. Is because I basically, for all sake and purposes, I grew up in the States. I mean, as far as what would you consider education and
so you basically consider yourself American more than Mexican.
Well, yeah, I think I do because
you grew up.
I was born in the States, so I know in Mexico they look at me as el extranjero, the foreigner.
Yeah. George. Yep,
it's George. Well, and that, you see, the whole thing with my name, it's Jorge Jorge is basically George in English. It's the same
Yeah,
thing. But
yeah.
growing up in the school system there in the city of Calexico, for maybe the first 4 years of school, all the way up into fourth grade, I used to be the only Jorge in class. There was another kid, George Mendez, but he was in the next door class. So that was the only other George on campus,
Mm.
and so it was no big deal. He was George, I was Jorge, and whatever.
Yeah.
But like I think midway through the fifth grade or the beginning of the sixth grade, we had a new student come in, and he was also coming from the city of Mexicali, but he spoke no English. It was like his
Oh.
first year that he was going to be studying in the United States, and his
Yeah.
name was also Jorge Garcia, and
So he took it. He
well,
took
it was one of those things for the teacher, I guess. Instead of every time he would say Jorge, we would both answer. And because I already spoke English, he it was real easy for him just to call me George.
Yeah, yeah.
And it stuck. Unfortunately, it stuck with me all through just recently until we had to start going through the real IDs.
Yeah.
Because even through junior high, high school, college, everybody knows me as George, except for my family. They all call me Jorge, and or my very close friends that
Yeah.
knew me before the name change. So
Yeah.
it was just one of those things where it just kind of stuck, and I kept going by it, but until recent years, where California decided that you had to go by what was on your birth certificate. That's why I had to go change it over. But most of the people that have known me for the last, what do you want to say, maybe 7 or 8 years,
Yeah.
all know me as George. That's they know me as George, and
Yeah.
it's been, to be honest, a little bit of getting used to being called Jorge, because only my parents and my siblings call me Jorge.
Yeah.
But
Well, I feel the same kind of.
Okay.
I mean, I understand because I lived in the U.S. for 8 years, 8 years almost. I think it's 8 years, and it's been a while since I heard my name being said correctly. So when
what's
I
the
went
correct
back,
what's the correct pronunciation of your name?
it's Hamad.
Hamid.
It's impossible to say. It's impossible to say.
Hamid.
'Cause, yeah, it's not H. It's
Oh,
yeah, a bit
okay.
weak. Yeah. So it's to make it simple, just Hamad, and
Well, no,
It's-
I mean, if we can get it correct, why not?
don't even try. Everybody tried butchered it, so it's fine. I understand. I accepted it. So you can call me Hamad. It's fine, or the Aquatic Desert. As I was saying, when I went back to Kuwait, I actually almost teared up when I heard my name being said correctly by my mom, and you can imagine how hard it was to be away from my family all these years. And they were planning on visiting me in 2020, but COVID hit us. So yeah, they even got visas and everything ready, all the plans, and yeah, everything was set. And then when COVID hit us, it hit hard. So
So,
I
where
was
in the
stranded
states?
there.
Where in the states were you going to school?
California, Chico.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Chico.
okay.
Yeah. So all the way up. Yeah. North,
Oh, okay.
North California.
Now, was that because of the schools that you decided to go that took you there, or you had family in that region?
I had cousins there,
Okay.
but they weren't really there. They always like game, so they stay at home all day long and they don't go out. So yeah, nothing against gaming. I'm also a gamer, but not like that. I go outside. Yeah, I touch the grass, but they don't. So every time I go there, I'm like kind of unwelcomed in a way. So I just leave, and then stay with my American friends most of the time. Um, I had I had some differences of opinion because I have a different lifestyle. Some of them didn't like that I don't drink and I don't party, so it was boring for them to hang out with me. And some actually liked it because I was, in their eyes, good influence to live, a clean life. And we used to hang out like only 4 out of all 20 people I met. Only
Okay.
4 of us that stuck together. The other ones, they were like, not really close friends, so it didn't really matter.
Hmm.
It was fun for the most part until it wasn't. Until like I started, feeling homesick and missing my family.
So
So
how
yeah,
old were you when you left your home
Kuwait.
to go?
I was
Yeah.
I was 17.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was 17. So you
So
could say I grew up in the U.S. in a way.
yeah, so you were doing
Yeah.
your last couple of years of high school? Is that what you?
No, no, no,
Oh,
no. I finished high school early
oh, okay.
because I was born in February, so they pushed me with the ones who are older than me. Um, and yeah, I finished high school when I was 17, and then I left and stayed there for like 3 months, and then I turned 18.
Okay.
So yeah, I was almost 18.
So
And
it was your university that you were doing then at the United States.
yeah,
So the
I
language.
studied English for
Okay.
a year and a half in Riverside, California. And then after that, I went to Alabama. Um, it's a bit complicated why I went to Alabama, all the way from university to from Riverside to Alabama. Um, to keep it short, I finished 2 years there, and then I left and went back to California due to health issues. And yeah, I faced some more health issues there. Immunity, like the immune system is messed up because of the pills, all the pills I got, and yeah, I struggled a lot. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then I came back here, graduated. Um, yeah. Now I'm 26, so it took me a while to graduate. Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, but it's I'm interested in the fact that did you already speak English or understand English before you decided
I
to go to
understood
school?
English. I spoke English-ish, but not that good. It
Okay.
wasn't that. Yeah, I wouldn't understand 100% what you would say, every word you speak, but I would make sense out of what you're saying at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that brought some challenges when you were trying to go to school too, and if it was more of the textbook English, and you get down here and
Mm.
everybody speaks in
It's different.
slang
Yeah,
and
yeah. I think that was an issue a bit, but I got over it in the first year. I
okay.
understood, yeah, how life is there and how to speak. Yeah, I learned pretty fast English. I learned English pretty fast. I can't even English right now. um, but when you don't use English every day, you lose a lot of it.
Yes.
So it's good that I'm having it. I'm
Well,
having the experience right now. So yeah.
don't feel too bad because I use English every day and I still mess it up every
I
day.
messed up. I messed up Arabic too. So yeah,
So that's just human. That's just being a human,
yeah,
being flawed. But
yeah.
so so you come to the States, you start going to school up here. I know you mentioned about being homesick. What was one of the things that you didn't think that you took for granted, because when you're in Kuwait, it's like whatever. Once you get to the United States, what is the one thing that you really miss from home, other than your family, that you didn't realize you were gonna miss?
The food,
The food.
food. Um, I would say the lifestyle. It was it was much more relaxed. No one betrays anyone. You can trust anybody, almost anybody. Um, Not a lot of crimes compared to when I was in Alabama. You can imagine how bad it was in Alabama. Um, and surprisingly, in Chico specifically, where I lived, on the same street, if not every other day, at least once every week, you would get a report from the police saying someone got stabbed, someone got shot, 9 killed, indiscriminately. Um, it was random. Even our campus wasn't safe.
Okay.
So I stopped using my bike as a transportation method. I started using my car, and that's one thing that I definitely didn't appreciate when I was there, and
Well,
made me miss home even more. Before going to California, before going to the U.S., I always admired living in the U.S. and always had this idea of just staying there and opening your own business and whatever. Then I realized, when I went there, I realized how much people pay on everything and how you can't even breathe without paying.
yeah, there's no free rides, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So how different was your idea of what you thought the United States was going to be like to what it was actually when you hit the ground? And it's like, okay, this is
It's not
different.
when I hit the ground. It was after like months and months of actually seeing what is, because I was in a bubble. I was studying English, and it was international. Like every student there wasn't American.
Okay.
It was just in our little bubble learning English. And then when it bursted, I was exposed to the amount of drugs and the amount of things that are crazier than I expected. And
Uh,
yeah, it blew my mind. I was in shock at the beginning, because here it's everybody's innocent. Everybody is you hear stories about people. You don't see what's
okay.
going on. You only hear reports on the news or you know on social media, but you don't experience it firsthand. You don't see someone walking weirdly or wearing a hoodie and selling stuff for you don't need to avoid anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, but in the US it was different. Yeah, I expected California to be 90% safer than what it is at the moment. I thought it was like way safer, because I heard of people having their own guns and all these rights and freedoms. So I thought maybe they don't need to be in these situations, or how it is at the moment. But then it's deeper than what we think. It's deeper than a child's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, there's
there's good and bad, definitely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
definitely.
unfortunately politics will influence what happens in certain states and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
you know, well, it is what it is, I guess. But
yeah, yeah.
so I know that currently you're keeping aquariums and stuff like that, but is that something that you've always done, or is it something that
Almost always, you could say. My mom started this
okay,
when I was around 10, 10, 11. Um, she bought us some fish, and she brought. I remember they were guppies, light bearers at least, and
Okay.
they didn't lay eggs. They just straight up, um, pooped out the fish. So I was witnessing that, and that got me interested in
Okay.
breeding fish, and that definitely sparked the interest in the aquarium field. And also, the thing that made me get into this heavily is that I'm allergic to cats and dogs and every other animal. So I can't really keep any of them.
Okay.
So I ended up wanting to keep something. When I was at the very end of my stay in the US, it was around like 2018. I thought maybe I should get an aquarium and see, like, do some research on how to keep fish alive without having any casualties. I had some casualties, but surprisingly I was good at it. I kept up with my water changes. I kept up with feeding the fish every time I come back. I liked how they would be waiting for me to come back to feed them, and they just stay in their little corner waiting for food. That that interaction alone kept me interested in this hobby, and then I got into planted aquariums and
I was that's what I
live
was going to
planted.
ask you. What
Yeah,
because I know that's really what you photograph and what you showcase on your content is your aquascape aquariums that you have.
yeah.
Um, and that's what I
Can
was
I
going to try to
put my
ask you.
camera here?
I
Is
think you
it
can.
possible?
I'm not sure. You see, supposedly you could rotate the phone and it'll do it, but I know it used to do it on mine, and then I did some upgrades to to the phone,
Yeah.
and ever since I've done that, it won't rotate for me. But it might be
Mm.
that I have to go back and change the setting. Like I said, I'm not.
I don't
You're the
want to touch
computer
the
expert.
setting. Yeah, I
You're
went. I clicked on the button more to show, but I don't want to touch the settings. Yeah.
So when is your first taste of aquascaped or aquariums? Where do you come across those, and how does that start becoming something that you decide to do?
Do you know the channel that's called Green Aqua?
Yes.
I came across them on YouTube, and that's when. Actually, no, no, no. I planted some uh, crypt and swords, I believe, in my tank to keep the ammonia down, and I noticed them not surviving or not. Like some of them melted, which is weird. They shouldn't melt in any environment. So I figured out that there was a lot of ammonia. That's why I was, constantly doing water changes. I needed more plants. So I looked up how to keep plants alive and how to keep them from melting. And then I stumbled upon some really beautiful scapes
Hmm.
that they created, Green Aqua created. I thought maybe I can actually do this stuff. Let me try. I tried my first like driftwood and rock, like some lava rock, black lava rock from my um, local store. It was in Chico in 2019. Um, that's when I first started, and it was horrible. It looked just basically a block of wood, like a driftwood, like this, and then in front of it a lava rock that was covering half of it. I don't know what was the purpose of that. It was mindless. Like it wasn't intentional. It was just plug and play. And that's when I thought to myself, when I go back to Kuwait, I'll definitely start aquascaping for real this time.
Well, so you weren't doing that in the United States. You weren't keeping or you weren't doing the style aquascaping that you're currently doing then.
No, I wasn't. I
Okay.
wasn't doing it heavily. No, I I managed to keep some hardy plants alive.
Hmm.
Let's say that. And yeah, it wasn't really an escape when I was in the US. It wasn't really an escape. No,
Okay.
I can't call it that. Yeah,
Well, I mean, you start somewhere, but
yeah,
at
yeah,
that point,
exactly.
at that point, were you kind of striving for that, or are you just interested in lowering your ammonia and your nitrates and all that stuff, and that's why you were using plants, or at that point, had you already come across these types of aquascape tanks and was thinking, maybe this is something I can try?
I, as I said, once I saw the beautiful scapes Green Aqua made, and MJ Aquascaping, I believe his channel's name is MJ Aquascaping. When I saw when I saw these scapes, I it definitely sparked the interest in me to create beautiful scapes. I still can't call mine beautiful. I still strive for a really high grade. Um, then I can call it beautiful, but I'm still happy with what I have. At least everything is, um, you know, living. No plant is, how can I say it, melting. But yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah,
I guess I guess we're always going to be super critical of the work that we do, but
yeah.
I one of the things that's really attracted me from your tanks and stuff like that is the use of the red plants. I mean, that seems to be very prevalent in your aquariums.
Let me
Um,
turn my camera.
oh, you better than wait. Let me let me get rid of this then, and let's use yours. Let's see. What is it not doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did I disconnect?
No, you're there.
Okay.
Let me
So
get
yeah,
your
if
solo.
okay. So if you can see, I have some algae down here. It's obvious why. Can you hear me? Jorge? Guys?
No, you're here. You're here. I was trying to show your screen, put you
Yeah.
solo, but I guess if I go backstage, I mute myself.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I traveled like a week ago for 2 weeks. And as you can see, my apprentice did a very good job at keeping everything healthy. But some damage down here is obvious. It's fine. It's okay.
Nothing that won't grow back, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I got some chemical here that I use.
That's your
It's
fertilizer.
called, no, it's, how can I say it? Um, do you know when you have algae, what you do? What kind of chemical you use? It's H2O2, I believe, or um,
Basically like a
you know
hydrogen
Excel.
peroxide. Yeah.
You know Excel
Yes.
carbon. It's similar to it, but it's not as harsh as Excel.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, it is pretty harsh if you overuse it.
Okay.
Could damage your shrimp, but if you use it correctly, it's shrimp safe, 100% shrimp safe. I still have my amount of shrimp. Yeah, they never died on me.
So now you have more than one tank though, right?
Yeah,
How
these
many
two.
aquariums do you have? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So which is the one that has the Basmani Ramos?
here, that one.
The most. Oh, that one is. For some reason it looked a lot bigger on video.
Yeah. No, it's pretty small.
So
Yeah.
how big is the one that you have there? Your main aquarium.
It's 80 centimeters, so
Okay.
almost a meter. Yeah. I don't know how many inches that is or how many
I think it's
gallons.
about 30. I think it's about a 36-inch aquarium because 30 centimeters is a foot.
Hmm.
So 60 is 2 feet. So I think it's somewhere. It's almost like a 36-inch. Well, no, it's bigger than that. No, 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 no. It's 24, and then yeah. So it's. I think it might be like a, what we would call a 36-inch, like a 40 breeder kind of a
Hmm.
footprint. It sounds like. It kind of looks like that.
Yeah. It's a decent size, but not as big as the one I have in mind for the future.
Okay.
Yeah, I have in mind 3 meter or 2 meter at least 2 meters
Okay.
tank
Yeah, they're saying.
by a meter.
Yeah, they're saying 80 centimeters is 30 inches. So
Hmm.
it was over by 6 inches, but yeah, that's that's kind of what I remember the size. But so, are you
Hmm.
planning to eventually try to compete and enter?
Yeah.
What is it? Is that the ultimate goal?
Yes, definitely. One of my goals, but at the moment I can't afford it because I have other plans. I have my breeding business, which haven't started yet. If you're following it, I don't know, but it'll be just a local. Um, like my target is selling locally, not international, because
So
it's a bit complicated to export from Kuwait.
now your business, is it going to be like an online presence or out of home, or are you actually going to try to put together like a storefront?
So my business is basically me breeding my wild bettas
Okay.
and then selling them since
Okay.
they're not even available in the market here or anywhere, close. You need to order them, and when you get them shipped, it's too expensive. So what I'm planning to do is get every single type of wild betta um, and breed them in numbers so that they're um, sustainable in like selling them and still having stock to
Okay.
breed. Yeah.
So
But
how
I'm not
big
gonna
is
go crazy and breed millions of them, and then many of them die and the rest get sold.
yeah.
I'm not gonna do that type of breeding. It'll be controlled.
So how prevalent is the hobby there in Kuwait? Is the hobby pretty big, like let's say the United States, or is it more of a niche hobby? Or
If it's compared to the U.S., like by ratio, yes, it is
okay.
as big as in ratio because I think
Yes.
it's how can I say it? In the US, what is the ratio in the US? It's probably like out of 10 people, you get two people interested in aquariums, I guess.
Yeah.
Here it's the same. Here it's the same, 2 or 2.5, something like that, out of 10
Well,
people. So,
the reason I ask is because I know sometimes cost is where the cutoff is for the hobby. Like for example, I know in Mexico, it's more considered of a like a luxury hobby
yeah,
because of the costs associated with it. Um, so although people like it, not everybody really gets into it because there is a quite a cost associated with it. It's something that we
yeah,
kind of take for granted here in the United States a lot of the times because we have access to fairly inexpensive aquariums, and we
mhm,
have access to resale stuff and stuff like that. So it
yeah,
makes it very affordable. Where I know I have friends that are in Mexico City, where for them, you're talking an aquarium, maybe like a 10 gallon that we take for granted here in the United States. Well, that for them is probably like a quarter of a week's worth of wages. So it's just not necessarily as as attainable of a hobby for most people. So it requires some sacrifices to be able to keep fish in Mexico. Oh, did we lose you? Either that or I'm boring you because you look pretty serious. No, I think the connection must have frozen. I don't know if it's you or me. Am I? Can you guys hear and see me, or did I get dropped? Now I'm curious. Okay, I must have been him then. He's probably coming back. I came in late. What part of the world? He's from Kuwait. He's originally from Kuwait. Uh, Came to the United States for his university, and has recently gone back to Kuwait. Yeah, hopefully he'll come back. He'll be able to get back in here. We'll just give him a little bit of time. But yeah, it was interesting because I couldn't remember the reason I was asking him is because I have a tendency of, as you guys know, that I work these odd hours, a lot of graveyards. As a matter of fact, I'm currently working a graveyard shift, so I have a lot of time where I spend on YouTube. And one of my favorite things is just looking for new channels that keep surfacing. And I guess I've done it so much now that the algorithm almost almost as soon as somebody starts putting out new content, I'm getting a recommendation to go see their stuff. So I wasn't sure if Hamad was one of those. Oh wow, thank you, Jeff. Thanks for the memberships. Give me a second. Yeah, okay, he'll be right back up. I guess he's having a little bit of technical issues. And oh, okay. I guess his phone is overheating. Hopefully, okay, he's getting his computer. I'm getting all the notifications on Instagram. And what was I saying? Oh, so that's why I had to ask him, because I couldn't remember if it was one of those channels that I came across during my graveyard shifts where I'm just kind of, and usually that night shift is the one that tends to allow me that, because during the day most of you guys are doing, there's other live streams, and I spend most of my time watching or lurking on those. But at night, unless the only one that's a regular that I see at night is Craig, and sometimes he's not really doing anything other than just showing his aquariums. I'll go and start looking. I'll start looking just to see what's out there, and I start coming across some of these. So, but Hamad said, excuse me, that I guess he popped in one of my Spanish live streams, and that's where I remember I noticed it because his name was new to me, and so I was kind of curious, went back and checked him out, and that's probably how I came across his channel. Hey Ian, well, while we wait for him to come back, let me catch up with the hellos from those of you that have joined us since we started. Ian, thank you for being here. Jeff Kane, thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate not only the super sticker, but also the 20 memberships that you just put out there. Budget Pond Keeper, if I'm not mistaken, you're from Europe, correct? Thank you for being here. Jay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Steven, thank you so much. Let's see who else. Red Laser, thank you. Tommy, thank you for joining us. Ron, thank you so much. Hopefully next week, Ron, we can do this next week. We need. I'll send you a message. Well, actually, I'll call you once I get done with this, and we'll work that out. I know this week was kind of a little bit crazy because of the holidays and my work schedule. Let's see. Okay, it looks like he's coming back. 3G, thank you so much for joining us. Amisa, thank you. Let's see who else came in since we've been on. Oh, Brandon, thank you so much for joining us, Brandon. Jimmy P, thank you for being here. Linda, thank you so much. Let me bring him up and just try to catch up on the comments from the people, and try and see who else had joined us during from the time that we started. I think I'm caught up. If anybody that I might have missed, I'm sorry. I'm still scrolling up, scrolling up. Alex, thank you so much for being here, sir. And oh, Vinoski and Mal, thank you so much for joining us today. YFI or Wi-Fi, and I think I'm caught up. So you're having a little bit of phone troubles there. Oh, you're muted. See, try saying something.
Mic test.
There you are.
Okay. Is it good?
Yes.
Okay. So it started to lag, and then I was like, why is it lagging? And then when I touched it, it was too hot. So I had to go to my PC.
I had a phone that
Yeah.
used to do that to me, and finally I had to switch it out. I had one of those. It was a Google Pixel. Used to love the picture quality out of that phone, and the interface was so easy to use too. But after after a while, it just I couldn't go live or anything with it for too long because it would overheat and it shut off.
Yeah. We didn't even go live for too long. It was 40 minutes,
Yeah,
and it still heated up this hard.
yeah. I know
I don't
that
know
once that Google Pixel started doing that, um, it would just do it. I would be 30 minutes, or even when I was trying to just record. I guess if I was using too much of the memory or whatever on it, it might have been that the phone was also, um, I had used up a lot of the memory on it, so I was constantly having to go back, delete stuff, download stuff off of there, but it wouldn't. It was a great phone up until then. I used to love that phone, but and I like the price of it too. I'm kind of frugal myself, so
Yeah.
I was fighting. I swore I wasn't going to get into the
iPhone.
$1,000 phones and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but at the
I
end
mean,
they
I
got
got
me.
this as a gift. I wouldn't buy it. iPhone 6. And I still no, not 6, sorry. Uh iPhone 10. iPhone 10. I
Yeah.
even forgot the number. Yeah. iPhone 10.
Yeah, so you were telling us. Well, actually I was telling you, but then you froze up a little bit there.
Yeah.
See, now I'm starting to show my age because I forgot what I was telling you. It must have not
I
been that
forgot.
important.
I forgot. So
I know I was in the middle of some sort of rant, but it's probably doesn't matter. Oh, about the expense. What I was saying is that I know in Mexico it just becomes a little bit more expensive. It's not as accessible, so they kind of consider it a little bit more of a hobby. I mean, more of a luxury to have an aquarium.
luxury, yeah.
So that's why I was kind of curious what it was like, there in Kuwait. Is it like here in the States where it's pretty accessible, or is it something that most people would have to either save up or considered more of a luxury?
It depends on the household you live in. It
Okay.
depends, because some people are pretty rich and some are okay. I would consider my family to be in the middle. We had our hard days and we had our
Yes.
good days, but if you look at the average, I would say maybe 20% of the people would consider it as a luxury, and
Okay.
the rest, not the rest, some of them would see it as um, meaningless. What is this? Why would you keep fish in a tank? They wouldn't understand the hobby, and the other the other ones would see it as a hobby. So I would say 50% would consider it something silly to do.
Okay.
20% would see it as a luxury, or less than 20%, and the rest would see it as an actual hobby and it's enjoyable. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is there like a trend as to what kind of species of fish they like to keep there? Is it more, you know, because here you have like the people that like nano fish, like myself. I like the smaller
Okay.
fish, and then you have a segment of the population that really enjoys the bigger fish, the big monster fish.
Okay.
Uh, is it all over the place also there, or is it? Because I know
It's
Europe, it seems to. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it seems to
yeah,
be
yeah.
like in Europe, they tend to be more focused on the smaller species. Not, but that's just kind of the impression that I get from what I see
Yeah,
on YouTube.
Even the Japanese people, they're interested in tetras and the nano fish. In Kuwait, it's chaotic, but the ignorant, they always go for the goldfish. You notice the trend. Like they don't care what kind of cool fish there is in the market on the market. They just care about goldfish. I don't know why. They love goldfish. They're obsessed with goldfish. You teach them about something else, they, they would give you a chance to, to convert them. But they always return, go back to just goldfish and what's it called? You know, the pink and blue.
The glow, the what is
Yeah,
it? The
gravel.
glowfish. Oh, the gravel.
Yeah, gravel, pink and blue gravel. Just throw two goldfish there, let them,
Well,
eat.
you gotta admit, goldfish can be pretty cute. I mean,
They could be cute, but they're easy to keep. That's
yes.
why they go back to goldfish because they would take, a child to kill them. It's impossible to kill goldfish. You need to do a water change every month, and that's it. Yeah.
So is the hobby there um, very similar to what you're doing, where it's a lot of plant influence, or is it more like what you're describing, the fish
No.
and the color gravel, or is it all
So
over the place?
so if you go on Instagram and you look up Aquascape Kuwait KW Aquascape KW, um, this is actually um, my friend's shop, and it's one of the shops that are trying to educate people on aquascaping
Okay.
and trying to create a revolution in this hobby and make them more educated on um, hard plants to keep, using CO2 in the tank, trying to explore other types of fish. Kind of introduced what's it called? Like we have never seen a killifish in Kuwait, and they introduced it.
Okay.
They introduced two species of killifish: rocket killifish, and I forget the other one. Gwenthery, I believe that's the name of it. It's red and yellow.
Okay.
They started some other aspects in the hobby, like teaching people that there are different shapes. Like you can create an island type of design. You can create a triangle. So basically, you have wood, a big wood here on this side, and then just carpeting plants and some stem plants on that side, and um, a triangle shape. They introduced some of the basics uh, that the Europeans would know, but in Kuwait it wasn't known here. Um, yeah, and I enjoy going there, so I constantly you would see me there, like on Instagram posting videos. I'm there. It's the only shop that I enjoy staying in, basically. The other ones are typical, just go in, get your tank, supplies, and leave. Yeah.
Okay. So that's catered more towards the type of aquascaping that you're doing then.
Yeah. And one of them is joining the competition next year.
Okay.
So yeah. We have maybe only three people joined the competition in Kuwait. I shouldn't say only. I know it's not something common because
Yeah, I was going to say. So is the hobby
yeah.
relatively new then in Kuwait, or
No. It's not. But
just
you,
the form of that part of
yeah,
the hobby?
yeah, and also it's too basic here. Like people try to keep it basic. They don't explore. They don't try new species of fish, plants. They keep crypt, and that's it. They keep swords, and that's it. They don't look at Boost or Anubis.
Steven says that he likes the idea of aquascaping, but he likes stuffing it with plants until there's no more room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
So
least you wouldn't know that you have algae if that's if that's how you keep in your tank.
yeah, no. So in the types of species that you guys keep, are you guys at the stores? Is it um, is keeping natives? Is that a thing at all, or kind of fish they're endemic to Kuwait, or
We don't
they're
have
just
we
doing?
don't have fish in Kuwait. We don't have. It's a desert.
No, I
So
understand that.
yeah. What was your question then?
Well, don't you guys? There's no creeks or any waterways at all in
No.
Kuwait.
Nothing.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a desert. It's like I don't know Nevada or
Well, no,
yeah
but Nevada, even Nevada
Nevada.
has
They have.
waterways. That's why I was kind of
Here's an
curious.
example. Uh,
But I know
let's say the Sahara Desert.
yeah, you
There
guys
is
are
no
you guys are
water.
landlocked. There's no running water
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
We have wells, but that's it. Like we have,
Okay, no natural
deep down
springs, no
water.
nothing like that.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay,
nothing.
okay.
Not
Well,
even the
that yeah,
past. Yeah,
yeah. Well, that makes sense
but
then.
we have next to us the sea. We can dive there, but
So
we have no water in the land.
is
Yeah,
saltwater
salt
a
water.
popular
Yes, yes. It's as popular
population?
as fresh water. It's
Okay,
as popular, yeah, or maybe a bit more popular than
because of
freshwater.
the ease
Yeah,
to access some of the species and stuff like that.
it's because we like fishing, and some people like to fish and try to keep the fish alive in a
Okay,
tank, and that's part the idea and this hobby. And they kept rare species of Nemos and clownfish, and they call it Nemo here. They don't
yeah.
call it
Well,
clownfish.
I think everywhere. Unless
Yeah,
you're fully invested in the hobby, you're not gonna call it by
yeah,
his name. It's that's what Pixar created was Nemo and Dory.
yeah, exactly. So these two, and they keep some really cool fish here, but it's too expensive to delve into it. So I didn't go that route.
Oh yeah,
It's too expensive.
it can get expensive real quick, even here.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's one of the
yeah,
reasons why I don't. I like them. I truly enjoy them. I think they make some of the most stunning aquariums, but
Hmm.
it's just too much money. I mean, for me, uh, if I ever did saltwater, it would probably be just one aquarium. It would be a big aquarium, but it would only be one because
I wouldn't. Here, it's too expensive. I wouldn't go that big. I would go like as big as my big tank you saw.
yeah.
That's it.
Well,
Yeah,
for me,
yeah. My
big would
main
be like a
tank.
120. A 120 would probably be the ideal size because then you can start messing around with some different species of fish and
Mm,
add some corals and stuff like that. But
mm.
that's why I don't do it. It's just
Too much money. Too much
yeah.
money and
Well,
too much time.
what the takeaway, and this is somebody that doesn't keep salt water, obviously saying this, but it seems like it's more gadget oriented. And what I mean by that, every time I see somebody trying to flex, show off a saltwater aquarium, it's always
Yeah.
the sump. You know, the sump is what really, they have all these
Yeah, it
LED
is.
lights, all these different pumps, and it looks like a science lab in the bottom. But
Yeah, exactly. Or in the back at least.
yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
that's just ignorant me saying that, and that's the impression that I get. But I have actually heard a couple comments that the saltwater guys really like their gadgets. They have stuff that'll
Auto dose and
auto dose, and
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
got skimmers, and they have
Yeah.
a bunch of
pH
bells and whistles.
checkers and GH and all the
Yeah.
stuff, everything. They check everything. Yeah, I don't like this aspect. I don't even test my water anymore. So yeah, yeah, you can
Well, I don't
imagine
think you need
how
to.
bad that would be. Yeah,
With the as planted as your aquariums are,
yeah. You
I don't
don't
think
need
you
to.
really need to worry about your
Yeah.
nitrates or your ammonia shooting up anytime soon.
I need to worry about the temperature
Yeah,
because
I
it's
think that would.
changing. Yeah.
So you don't run heaters in yours?
No,
Oh, it's
not
all
even in
ambient
some,
temperature.
not even in winter. No,
Mm.
because it stays relatively warm inside my house, but it gets cold when you walk outside
Yeah.
because the wind. It's the desert, so it's a harsh environment. It's either too hot or too cold. There is no in the middle. So our
Oh, well,
spring would be only like almost less. It's less than a month. Actually, it's less than a month. Our
oh,
spring is less than a month.
I can
Yeah,
relate. I live out in Arizona, so you're not telling me anything I've never experienced before.
yeah.
Yeah, we
How
have
how cold does it get there?
we say cold, but look, honestly, and it usually is around any between 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning. The lowest it gets could be maybe like 38. It doesn't really get to freezing.
Hmm.
38 degrees. I got to do the Celsius quickly. Um, let me. I can't compute that quick in my mind anymore.
I can convert it here on my
38
computer.
Fahrenheit to Celsius. That's 3 degrees.
Mm.
So 3 degrees Celsius. But that, again, that's only for a very short period of time.
Okay.
Basically, between 3 o'clock in the morning to right around
Mm.
sunrise is when that temperature will dip there. But our typical
Mm.
winters here, the temperatures would be like in the low 50s on a cold day.
Okay.
But it'll
So
warm
it's
up.
manageable.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm able to keep all of these here relatively, without having to use heaters and all of these because it would kill me. I tend to keep the ambient temperature, a little bit higher, and it helps with the aquariums. So,
Mm.
but it's. I mean, if I were to put skylights, kind of do like a greenhouse, I would get it very warm here in the summer. I mean, in the winter.
And then when yeah.
Yeah, the problem is the summers where it gets way too hot. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's my biggest struggle is summers, not winters. Summers are
Yeah,
brutal
yeah,
for
yeah.
me.
Same. It's worse here. It's the hottest on Earth here. So I understand what you're saying. What I do is I have a bucket full of water waiting on the side, and then I just when I do my water change, I pull some water from it, and then fill it again, and wait for it, and let the water rest for at least a day, and then I do my water change again. So. Um, One day I decided that I can mix the hot water with the half that is already inside, and I had three casualties. So I'm not gonna do that again.
Well, what I've
I
learned over the
didn't expect it to be damaging because it mixed with the rest of the water. So, and I touched it with my hand, but I guess it actually matters to the fish.
Well, I think what it was the rapid change in
The
temperature that
rapid
probably
change,
got them.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I know, with for example here, it could get pretty cold. I mean, right now it's 74 degrees in here,
Hmm.
um, without any heater or anything running, but it's been gradual, and it'll kind of no, it's staying consistent there, but it just it could if I don't put a heater in here, it would probably get into like the 60s in here, but it'll be
Hmm.
so gradual that the fish will just go into hibernation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
And
wouldn't kill them. And then they wake up in the morning feeling
once the
okay.
temperature starts going up, but it's I don't fluctuate. You see, our temperatures are pretty consistent, so it's not like it's getting real cold and then real hot. And then as the year progresses, the temperature gradually starts picking up again,
Hmm.
and the fish will start acclimatizing to that change. But it's consistent. That's the only upside. Unlike like for example, the craziest state that I've ever been with temperature wise is Colorado. I
Hmm.
was stationed out there in Fort Collins for a while, and I remember you would come out in the morning, could be a beautiful sunny day. 2 hours later, it's just downpouring rain, and then an hour later, it's getting almost to where it's going to freeze, and then the sun will come out. It was just the weirdest weather. It would change so often and so quick, and so I probably wouldn't be able to pull that off there. The way I keep fish here,
Yeah.
because
It's chaotic.
it would be too many swings in
Yeah.
temperature. It's just too crazy.
Here in Kuwait, when you walk outside, have you ever seen a rainy day and a sunny day together?
Yes. In
Okay.
Arizona, we get that. No clouds, but there's rain falling from the sky.
Okay. How about a dusty day and rainy at the same time?
No, I don't think I. Well, we get
It gets
the mon.
dusty.
Yeah, we get the
Yeah.
monsoons once in a while, but yeah, it's not. It's I can imagine it's nothing like what you guys get.
It changes every minute here. When you walk outside and you see it's dusty, oh no, I need to go back and just wait until the wind stops. And then as you're going back, you see the rain coming and you're like, do I go back or continue? And then yeah, it gets even more rainy. I don't know how it gets rainy when it's windy. It's too windy for it to rain. I don't understand the weather, honestly.
No.
I don't understand the science.
Well, I don't think the weather guys understand it either because they're always getting it wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's a complicated thing.
Yeah. It's random. Depends on your mood.
I guess. I mean, some places are more volatile than others. I know. Aquarium Delirium is saying that in England they'll get snow, sun, and rain all in one day. Oh, in an hour, not even the whole day.
Oh no.
But here at least we know. We always joke around that we have two seasons. We have hot and hotter, and that's pretty
Mm.
much it. But yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we have hot and cold. That's
yeah,
it. We don't have in the
our
middle.
down here we call it winter, but everybody else calls it spring. We get a lot of people from the northern region of the country, from Canada and the northern of the United States, coming down here
Mm.
to spend the winter because for them it's like spring weather.
Mm.
Where we're walking around here all bundled up, they're out here in t-shirt and shorts, talking about it ain't cold. But they're coming from regions of the country where it'll go below zero. I mean, they'll be in the
Mm.
negatives.
Yeah,
So, I can understand. For them down here,
that's
50s,
nothing. Yeah.
40s is just a beautiful spring day for them.
Just like some people from Russia, they swim there. It's ice cold, and they swim.
Well, I
It's
know
like they've you know
in the Scandinavian
shaved.
countries, that's it's they actually have these pools that they go swimming in, and it's just it's crazy. I mean, but it's supposed to be healthy for you.
I could never. I could
Yeah,
never.
it'd be tough. It'll be tough.
Yeah. I can't breathe inside a really cold water. No, I can't.
Yeah, it takes it's one of those things that you practice it and you start learning how to do it, but it's not something that people get used to. That's not.
Mm.
Well, it's no different than dealing with the heat. When it gets really really hot, it's you learn how to deal with it. It's not that you get
Mm.
used to it. It's just
Yeah,
how to
you
handle
know
it.
that it's still hot. You know, you
Yes.
still know it's hot. You're not like, oh, the weather is nice. No,
Uh,
you would be sweating, but you would at least tolerate the weather better
uh,
than the Scandinavians in Kuwait. Yeah. I would assume they actually can't survive the weather here. It's too hot for them. Yeah. I don't think they can live here in the summer.
hmm.
Yeah.
So they come down for the winter. Is that usually what they do, or what?
Some of them, yeah. Some people actually visit and live here. Surprisingly, we have a really big, what's it called?
Tourist industry.
Yeah, we have many tourists. I'm surprised because Kuwait is not actually close to Dubai. You need a 12-hour drive. You need to get the Saudi visa to get inside Saudi and then to Dubai. So
So
you
what are
need
some
to
of the
take a
the tourist
plane.
attractions that are there in Kuwait?
Probably historical,
Hmm.
maybe I would assume the islands we have. We have 8 islands here or nine. I forgot, but something like that. And there are pretty places to dive in. Um, it's probably interesting because not many people talk about Kuwait, so they visit to know what this country is all about, how people are living here. That's my assumption. We have the biggest mall in the Middle East.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have another mall. We have maybe 5 good malls, pretty good to visit. So I would assume they would go shopping,
So what
sightseeing in those
what
places.
would make a mall? Okay, let me ask you. What would you see at a mall in Kuwait that you would never see in a mall in the United States? Although malls are kind of going by the wayside in the United States.
Mm. Probably how clean they
Uh,
are. Probably how like the design is. We have the one of the best architects like uh, designs in the Middle East, and I would assume if it's one of the best in the Middle East, it could compete with the rest of the world
mhm.
because we have Dubai here, and they are stealing some of the designs we have in Kuwait. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I was shocked that it's a fact. I thought my friend was joking, and then he showed me like a documentary explaining we have a mall that was built in Kuwait already that they copied in Dubai at some point. Yeah, I'd never liked going to the malls in the US. I if I needed something, I would go, but I wouldn't hang out there. I don't know why.
It's a whole different concept, the malls in the United
Yeah.
States compared to what you would have there in Kuwait.
Hmm.
Okay.
You have at least four cinemas um,
Okay.
in one mall in Kuwait. So that's something different, completely different to the US. One of the things that shocked me because when I was 17, it wasn't the case. It wasn't the case. It was just one cinema, a monopoly. This one guy knew the trick, and just people kept going to that cinema and get overcrowded. But now there's big competition.
Ritesh says
Buy
that
has
could
a
be something
zoo.
very significantly different than what we would ever see here in the States.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a whole different atmosphere and concept. Then I'm assuming.
Yeah. It is fun to visit. To be honest, it is fun to visit Kuwait. I would I would recommend visiting Kuwait.
Hmm.
You don't need a visa, so to speak. I think you need to apply online for a visa, and when you go there, you pay like $15, something like
Okay.
that, and then you enter. But if you're American, you don't need a visa.
Hmm.
If you have US passport, you don't need a visa. You can just go in. They don't even ask how many days you're gonna stay there. Yeah.
Wow. So let me see. So we've talked about um your when you started getting into the hobby, your interest into that, and I know you said you wanted to do some of the competition. Do you have a date, or is it something you're trying to shoot for next year, or you feel like you want to wait a couple of more years and then
I
decide to
probably need
enter?
2 years from now. I need 2 years at least. At least, if nothing happens, nothing crazy happens. If I don't get married or something randomly, probably 2 years. In 2 years, I would get in a competition. I would try to keep it between 2 to 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, anything after that, it would be not realistic.
So are you because I'm assuming a lot of this stuff is like anything else. The more you do it, the easier and the better you get at it. Do you have like a, I guess they call them like sandboxes or whatever, where you're actually
Yeah,
just constantly
yeah.
playing
I
with hardscape and
I don't have that. The shop, the Aquascape shop that I told you about, they have that.
oh, okay,
And
so
yeah,
you
one
go
of
and
my
hang out.
plans is to go and hang out. I'm not gonna compete now, so I'm keeping it low, but once I'm serious about it, I'll definitely go and practice some more there and talk to them about it. But at the moment, I don't want to um, bother them with hypothetical, situation until it gets serious and I get really close to the year that I'm going to compete in. I'll definitely be practicing a bit more. Yeah.
So
But at the moment, I'm focused.
how much of
Yeah.
that is really the skill of putting together the aquarium versus the skill to be able to take a good picture? Um, do you think you need to
Hmm.
have a
Yeah, I'm
better
definitely
ability
going to
of?
hire someone
Oh, okay.
to take a picture. Or maybe if I get better in the future
Because
with
I know
taking
you
pictures.
like that's one of the other things you really enjoy is playing with
Yeah.
photography, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I have my own camera and I do my own videos. I shoot my own um, videos, but it's it's a slow progress. It's a slow development in my photography and videography skills. Um, I'm getting better. I can sense that, but I'm not getting better in the rate that I wish. Yeah, it's
Well, it's
it's a
like
bit
everything else. So
slower.
it's
Yeah.
something that you got to do it more. And it's the nice thing about a camera or learning how to do that is you're not limited by where you can do it. I mean, it's not like you can only do aquariums. It's like anywhere
Mm.
you walk,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's an opportunity to be able to capture images, to try different techniques. That's the nice thing about having a camera is that
Yeah,
you could develop that skill not necessarily just in front of an aquarium. Where
yeah,
aquascaping, you're kind of limited to the media you're using. I think with the camera, there's that versatility that you can just whatever your mind allows you to think, you can kind of do. I know that recently you were down in Japan,
In Japan,
and
yeah.
you mentioned you were going to go check out the Takashi Amano studios. Um, did you get an
It's
opportunity to do that or not?
unfortunately no, because it
Oh,
was
okay.
3.5 hours away by bullet train, and our plan was a bit short. We couldn't really afford um, changing one day in the plan. It was jammed, so I assumed it was close to Tokyo, so we
Oh,
could
okay.
at least, yeah, go there and come back.
Yeah, so I guess
Other
it's got.
competitions require to send photos on raw format, so you do need a good camera. Yeah.
So, but I there's also. I mean, I was surprised because I forgot who I was watching. I might have been George Farmer or one of the bigger guys, but the whole setup just to take the picture, you would think, somebody that doesn't understand photography, I thought they would just stand in front of the aquarium and shoot a picture.
No,
But
you need
there's
to cover.
lighting. Yeah,
You need
there's
to cover
all
the whole
kind.
frame of the aquarium, and you need to keep the room, dark. Just the aquarium showing, and
Hmm.
then you put your camera in front and you take the picture. It's
Yeah, but
it's
I
not an
didn't
easy
realize how much.
process.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much equipment
Yeah.
was taken into consideration to be able to set up a shot until I started watching some of those videos, and it was like, wow, man, it's not just taking a picture. There's a whole other
Yeah.
art form that goes along with it, and there's equipment, there's like what do they call them, light boxes and all this
Yeah.
other stuff that I never even thought that was stuff
Yeah.
that was required, because I had
That's why
never
I'm
really.
assuming. Yeah, sorry for cutting you. That's why I'm assuming I would hire someone to take a picture for me. I can't see myself doing all that stuff by myself. And on top of that, I need to better my aquascaping game. I know you guys think my aquascaping is good, but honestly, it's not comparable to these big guys. I'm considered really new to this field. They have 15 years of experience. I have only what, 1 year, 2 years, at best 2 years. So yeah, not comparable.
Well, I think a lot of what, because I've kind of watched some of the videos that they put out in there, and sometimes it's just more having a unique point of view.
Mm,
Because so many of them are very similar in style, what they're doing and stuff like that. But it always seems that the newcomers, they bring in a very fresh perspective, and
okay.
they tend to do a little bit better because it's something that hasn't been seen before. Um,
True.
so
True.
they're surprised because there's certain techniques that are done, that just because it's a fresh idea.
Idea.
and
Yeah.
uh and so, but so I wouldn't discredit your ability, because it's just, it depends what you never know what's going to captivate somebody's eye. So,
Yeah. 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 And also the fish choice. The fish choice
well,
is
there's some
huge,
there.
by the way.
I guess, yeah, everything has to be within proportions, I guess. And
Yeah.
there's certain, I guess there's certain fast rules you need to adhere to be able to meet those requirements, because I guess they do have certain requirements that go along with it. But yeah, you're not gonna set up a scape like that and put in a big old South American
Goldfish.
cichlid in there.
Goldfish.
Yeah, well, have they not done goldfish?
No. No.
Never.
No.
Huh.
Impossible. Impossible. I
Did
would
you?
delete my channel. I would disappear from this earth. I would run away. I don't know what
Poor
I would do
goldfish.
if
What
I
did they
saw
ever
a
do to
goldfish.
you?
But they are not sophisticated. They're not. Their colors are typical. They're the oldest fish to keep. You
Okay.
can't. Yeah, you can't expect them to be.
even angelfish is newer than goldfish. Even angelfish.
Oh yeah.
So you can only imagine how shocked the Japanese judges would be when they see a goldfish competing with a schooling fish or something that is, you know, um, exquisite. You know, goldfish can behave in a cute way. Okay, fine, they're adorable. I love them. I don't hate them. But tetras, angel, barbs, these nanofish, they capture nature more than goldfish. Goldfish don't look that natural, you
Well,
know.
the
They
thing is, you really can't find goldfish out of nature. They've been
yeah
selectively bred for the body shapes that they have now.
yeah
Um, because if you go for a wild type goldfish, it's going to be a carp. You know, it's just going to be a carp. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. You don't have to
yeah
convince me. I'm right there with you. I'm more of a nanofish kind of guy.
yeah.
Uh,
I understand.
so
I'm just explaining for the people who are watching, so they don't hate me when they're keeping goldfish. You know,
they don't come after you.
nothing. Yeah, nothing against goldfish. I love
Well,
them.
you'll be fine as long as you don't say anything bad about Oscars, because then June will have to get in an airplane, and she's gonna come after you. She'll find you in Kuwait. She's got a special set of skills when they offend her
No,
Oscars.
Oscars are amazing. Yeah, they have
Right
interesting
answer.
colors. Yeah. No.
Well, I really think they're really good looking fish, but I
Yeah.
I don't keep them because
They're too big.
yeah, that's exactly it. I don't really keep a lot of big fish. I'm like you. I like seeing a lot of the smaller stuff because the reality is I'm a hoarder, and
Hmm.
I can get away with a relatively good sized aquarium and have a lot more fish than I could.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have a tank big enough to keep as many Oscars as I want to keep because
Yeah.
they're really really big fish.
One of the good things of having small fish is when one dies, you don't really feel too bad. You know that
There's
they're
no attachment.
sensitive. And
Yeah.
there's no attachment. You don't name them. But when it's a big fish, it feels different. And
Well, and I think
yeah,
that's what it is. That's why I understand that fascination because they do become more of a equivalent to like having a dog or a cat,
a dog and
because
cat.
they
Yeah,
they have
yeah,
that personality because of the size. They interact with you. They you get the impression that they recognize you and that they get happy to
yeah.
see you.
Yeah.
Uh,
And sometimes you can't
so
even pet them, which is crazy. Imagine petting an angelfish. It's
a
not
bunch of Tetras,
possible.
some neon Tetras. Come here, little neon Tetra. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. But yeah, that's why it's more common that people will name those type of fish because one, most people don't keep multiple of those fish because they're so big. They need the room. So when you're
Yeah,
keeping a lot less, they do become a little bit more personable, and you do tend to create a little bit more of an attachment than say a guppy. Nobody's gonna
yeah,
cry over. Well,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say nobody, but
But it's
most
not as
people,
as bad.
yeah, it's not.
It's not as bad.
Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they're not. You're not comparing apple to oranges.
yeah,
It's a little bit different. So, but I just to me, I like having multiple fish and trying to see like a little community within the aquarium. So that's why I like the nano fish.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I think we're kind of up to a natural pause in this. Unless you have anything else you want to share with us, any future plans that you might have, or
My
um,
future plan is definitely uploading, or how can I say it? Editing first my
okay,
Japan trip videos that I captured on my camera, but I honestly don't have the time. I couldn't find the time to even transfer the files to my PC. I haven't even sat on this chair for a long time, for maybe
This is
3
the long-
days.
This is the
Yeah.
longest you sat in your chair for a while.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
So
That's it.
you
Yes.
continue to grow. Is it one of your objectives is to grow your channel, put out more content, or is it more? Well, I guess it is a way to document your progression if you decide to compete.
Yeah.
That there's a archive of where you
Exactly.
started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
is
like
that
to share what I'm, doing.
And I know once in a while you do live streams also, don't you? You
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
doing those recently, or is that something?
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
been doing?
Recently. Yeah. Recently. Because someone commented on one of my videos, we need to hear your voice. We need to, see you. And I was like, I'm not going to do a video of, me taking a selfie. It's too silly to do for me. I can't. I can't talk to the camera. It's not for me. I can't talk to the camera and record myself talking. I can't do it. Yeah.
I guess one of the questions here is that they want me to ask you about food. I'm assuming it's the food that you guys eat, not necessarily the fish food that they're wanting to inquire. What are some of the traditional Kuwaiti dishes that
It's rice and meat, rice and chicken, rice and beef, rice and sheep, goat. Yeah, any kind of meat.
did
We
you find
have also fish
Oh, okay.
dishes that are pretty popular.
Did you
yeah.
find any decent Kuwaiti restaurants over here in the United States?
There aren't any Kuwaiti restaurants,
Okay.
but there are Turkish restaurants and some restaurants that are close to Kuwait's
So taking different foods from
cuisine.
the region and kind of different dishes.
Yeah.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, like Lebanese, type of cuisine. It's a bit close, not too close to our cuisines, but they're kind of close.
All right.
But I think if you eat in Kuwait, you will not like the food anywhere else. I think that's the case, or at least the Middle East. If you eat in the Middle East, you wouldn't really like it anywhere else. If you like spicy food,
I was going to ask you.
yeah, you can find spicy food here, but not always. It's not always the case. In India, maybe it's too spicy for even a Mexican guy.
I don't know. I do. We have actually a very good Indian food restaurant here,
Mm.
and I'm assuming it's really good because they don't speak English, so they speak Punjabi. So it's like if you go to a Mexican restaurant, you better expect the cooks to be speaking Spanish,
Yeah.
because if they're not, then I'd run. I would run. But they do. They tell you want 1 through 5, and I usually get a 3, which is I mean, you're sweating. I could probably do a
Yeah.
4, but then it's just kind of
Yeah, it's not edible.
well. No,
It's not
it is,
enjoyable.
because it's a very different kind of spice. It's more. What I love about it is the flavors. There's I mean, it's just an explosion of different
Yeah.
flavors.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite food to eat outside of Mexican food. Just because the complexity of all, you got cinnamon, cardamom, all the spices, you got
Yeah.
anise, cloves. I mean, it's just all these complexity and aromas, and it's just I really enjoy it. I mean, I love
Yeah.
it. And my favorite thing to do when I go to the restaurant, I've built a rapport with the waiters and the people there, that I tell them, no, just bring me something that you would normally eat at home. And usually they'll whip up something. I don't know if it's how authentic it is or not, but it's very good. I have not been disappointed yet. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of it is more vegetable based too. Not a whole lot of meats. And so I like it. I really enjoy it.
You ever heard of chicken masala?
Yes.
Yeah, that was my favorite when I was in America, when I was in Chico. we had a restaurant there that was Indian, and the food was amazing, and it reminded me of Kuwait because we
Oh,
also
okay.
have Indian restaurants here. Actually, the most famous meal is Indian for breakfast specifically. So Indian fast food type of restaurants are in every how can I say it?
Ritesh is correcting us. We are misspeaking on his culture. Look, he says tiki marsala is British, not Indian.
Really?
Well, I
Tikka
you know
masala.
they were colonized by the British, so I wouldn't
Hmm.
be surprised.
Yeah, me neither. Chico, someone is asking Chico State. Yes, I went to Chico State, California.
Well, it's like
English Indian.
it's
Hmm.
funny when you talk about food like that because I know a lot of the stuff that we call quote unquote Chinese food here in the United States
It's
has
not
got nothing to
Chinese.
do. No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
well, the one that I always tell people is Taco Bell is not it's not it's not Mexican food.
I know that.
So if they've done that to Mexican food, I know
I
they've done
wouldn't be
it to all the
surprised.
other foods
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where, it's the idea, the principle of maybe the flavors and the ingredients are similar to what you would see,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just
it's just fake.
yeah. Cortez says that tiki marsala was invented in London.
Interesting. American cheese
So
is still Chinese food. American Chinese is still Chinese. I thought you said cheese.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I've in San Diego they had a dim sing or dim sung. I forget how you pronounce it, but it was they told me you're gonna go eat some authentic Chinese food, and it was nothing that I was still looking for Mongolian beef and sweet and sour chicken. That stuff is not.
That's Vietnamese, I think.
Uh,
That's Vietnamese. The
but
Mongolian beef and
yeah, I don't know. I don't
sweet
at
and
this
sour
point.
chicken.
At this point, I don't trust it. I don't. I think it's more of an American fusion, in kind of cuisine. But
Yeah.
uh, it's good. I'll eat it.
If you can look up Kuwaiti cuisine, I don't know how I can share my screen, but if you can share with
Let
the
me see.
chat Kuwait cuisine, Kuwait dishes, or something like that, and show them what it looks like. I hope Google is accurate.
Yeah. Well, we'll let you be the judge of that because
Okay.
let me see. Let me find some images. There we go. According to according to them, this is. Let me stop sharing that. Share this one. Although, watch it be an American version, like everything else.
I'll look it up on my end then.
I don't know. Is that do you
Yeah,
recognize any of those
yeah,
dishes?
yeah, yeah. Close, close.
Close.
Yeah, they mixed it with the Saudi Arabian cuisine
Oh,
as
okay.
well. Yeah, but if you can scroll down and yeah, you
Uh,
can see it on the right. There is some chicken right
this
there.
one
Yeah, it looks similar to what we would cook.
that would be more traditional.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely looks like that. Something like that. Yeah, pretty close.
nice. It looks
Yeah,
tasty.
it's something that I missed definitely when I was in the US.
All right. Um, well, I just wanted to thank you so much for accepting the invitation to come on here. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
sharing
having
a
me.
little bit more of your culture with us and educating us. And I wish you the very best, man. I've been watching your work for a little while. I really enjoy um, the content you're uploading. Uh, I like seeing like going back to your very first videos and see the progression, not only in your aquarium, but your ability to be able to shoot content. That's kind of been kind of cool too, to see that grow. And hopefully I can learn some stuff from you guys. I had you and Fathom on. You guys really like to work the cameras and stuff like that. So, but
It's an honor.
thank you so much. And I'm sorry that you jumped on one of my very first streams and it was all in Spanish. I haven't done one of those in a while, and I know I was confusing everybody. It's even going to be worse now if I start doing it again. But I do kind of enjoy it. So, and it's a whole different group of people that'll come and interact.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw it, I was kind of confused and didn't know whether I should ask or no. And yeah, I just asked, and got the answer.
Fine.
And no, here we are.
That's fine. What? But did you know that I was doing stuff in English, or it just happened?
No. I assumed you knew English. I assumed you knew English.
Okay.
Because it says Mexicali, and
yeah,
California. You should know English. Yeah.
Well, you weren't wrong. You weren't wrong, but it was just one of those episodes that I was doing in Spanish. What I was trying to do is kind of broaden my reach
audience.
A little bit. The audience, and I've come to find out that there is actually a void there that's not really being filled, especially in the United States. In Mexico, there's a lot of content creators down there. So there's a lot in Spain too. Coming to find out, there's some pretty big ones too in South America that now that I've been doing my content in Spanish and doing some of the streams in Spanish, I've connected with some of these people, and so it's really opened up my eyes to the way people keep fish in different regions of the world. That's why I was really interested in finding out how you guys do it there in Kuwait, because there's a lot of similarities. The basic principles are there, but the styles and the species of fish really do change based on where part of the world you are. Because one,
of course,
you have a little bit more accessibility to different species that you normally wouldn't find in for example, for me, either in the United States, or Central or South America. There's just a whole bunch of different species that I would probably have a lot easier access than, say, you yourself over there in Kuwait. So, but I always like learning about that, because it never really dawned on me how different the hobby was until I really started interacting with people from other places of the world.
Yeah.
And you start seeing it going, oh, okay, this is done a little bit different. These fish, they prefer these type of fish, where here we take them for granted. It's just kind of not really something we're interested in. That to me is always fascinating.
I definitely understand that, because I lived both in Kuwait and in America, so I saw both markets and realized how different they could be. But at times they could be similar. In some seasons, it would be similar. Like they both would have typical fish species, and then the rare ones would be in America certain types, and then in Kuwait it would be different types. Occasional. Let's call them occasional picks of fish.
And it's funny because I know, and I don't know if this is just the algorithm that kind of skews your perspective of things, but like I know big monster fish are a big thing here in the United States. They're a big part of the hobby. You have whole sections of channels that are dedicated to big monsters. The only other place that I've seen where is as prevalent as that is like Brazil. For some reason they like the big monster fish. But again, that could be just that I happen to find somebody that was doing that, and then I start getting the algorithm saying, "Oh, you like this stuff," so they start sending me. But that's the only other place where I can say that the popularity of of monster fish equates to what the popularity is here in the United States.
Yeah, but I think in Brazil it's mixed, just like
No,
Kuwait.
it is. But what I'm
Yeah,
getting at is,
'cause-
you
yeah. Go
know
ahead.
how here in the States you get a lot of people that are into the big fish. The
Mm,
only other place that I've seen that amount of popularity so far
yeah,
has been Brazil. Brazil is one of those countries that a good section of the community likes the
yeah.
big fish.
In
Um,
my experience, it's the Chinese in
mm,
China. There are
okay, yeah, I haven't been
plenty.
there.
Yeah, but then I realized at the very end of my days, in let's say a year ago, that in China actually they compete a lot with the ILPC competition. So they also like nano tanks, nano
Okay,
fish. Um, so it's also mixed. So every time I try to compare the US, the enthusiasts of monster fish, I can't compare it to any other country because the community is way too big uh, in ratio compared to other regions.
okay.
Yeah, I think mainly, yeah, US community of monster fish is probably bigger in ratio compared to other countries.
Yeah, because even when I look at the Europeans, um,
Mm.
I don't see, and it could
What was
again,
that?
this could all be biased because of what I
The
research.
algorithm.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
algorithm, but I
yeah.
don't really seem to come across as many channels or hobbyists that are displaying the
It
bigger
doesn't.
fish.
Yeah, it's not. It's not the same. It's not the same ratio in Europe, even in England, even yeah, in Germany. It's not the same. No, my friends actually visit there a lot.
Mm.
They visit fish shops, and they don't have big fish in their shops. They don't have. They only have nano fish. Similar to Japan. I went to Japan. I visited three shops, and all three shops they don't have big fish. Um, the only shop in Osaka they had the biggest fish they had was a snakehead, the snakehead fish,
Mm.
and it's not. It was a juvenile, so it wasn't an adult. Yeah, that was the biggest fish they had.
Okay, so it also could be
The
how
house
big the
size.
homes are. Yeah, the
Yeah.
sizes of the homes and stuff like that, and that makes total sense too because I know, like for example, here in the United States, if all you're living is in a one bedroom apartment, you're not going to put a 300 gallon aquarium inside a
You would
inside
be
a.
surprised. You would be People would shock you.
You're probably right.
They would cut the wall and just.
Yeah, you're probably right. Uh, yeah. So, but other than that, I just wanted to say thank you for joining me today, for accepting the request. I know it was kind of out of the blues, but I really do appreciate you coming on. Hopefully, the people that get to see this that were here or that get to watch the replay, go check out your channel, see what you're doing, and hopefully you pick up a few more subs, and that way it'll help your channel also with the algorithm. If people start, if, if the algorithm realizes people are liking what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, but with that, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I know Vibes is going to be going live tomorrow evening, and he's kind of invited everybody that's been a guest on his channel. I told him I was going to try to see if I can squeeze it by because I know we do the family thing, and but if I can get away from the grandkids for a little bit, I might be able to pop on and say hello and support Eddie for everything that he does. So everybody, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving for those of you that are here in the United States and celebrate Thanksgiving. And we'll see you. I think it's I'm back on Friday. Friday, I'm gonna have the chlorophyll corner. The owner of the store. It's a very interesting store that I came across in the Tempe area, the Phoenix area, and he'll be on with us, and we'll talk a little bit about his shop and what makes it so unique. So with that said, thank you guys, and we'll see you guys on Friday.
Yeah. See ya.